Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I am very good.
This is Doc's deduction with Tamim and Chris's cousins from abroad. I don't know what accents we're doing, by the way.
My name is Junicle. And we are going to talk about our sexual problems and the many misfortunes of our happenings.
Which, of course, we have no sexual problems because we are the French.
We are the French. We are.
Because apparently we are the French now.
I thought we were German, but I fucked up.
But your name is Jean-Pierre.
My name was Jacqueline a minute ago, I think. I actually can't remember what my name was a minute ago.
Je m'appelle Jean-Paul Tamim.
How do you say... You're going to do that French thing where you go... How do you say... mumble a couple of things. That's okay.
What is the French for petrol?
Ah! I spit on you!
Actually, I don't apologise to French listeners.
I don't.
And when I went to France, I got looks.
I do, yeah. Did you? Well, you shouldn't do accents out in France.
How would they know that I'm doing an accent? All they know is that I'm a foreigner.
Like, I'm sure that when you get people over here that are tourists and they start, like, in their own language going, oh, right, tea, all right, you can tell people are taking the piss out of accents, but...
when they're tourists, it's fine.
It's endearing, though, isn't it, sometimes?
Yeah. Do you ever pretend you don't know what you're doing or where you're going if you spot tourists because you know they're going to ask you for directions?
No, I'd be happy to. In fact, sometimes I put the accent on a little bit more, so they'll come up to me and go, where is this? And I'll be like, 2 right, mate, 2 right, apples and pears, just down the street.
Sweet as a diamond.
Sweet as a diamond. Now you'll get to the toffee stand, but you want to get past that, my love. You know, just really make it thick, you know.
Chris?
Yes?
Where's the toffee stand?
It's in Kingston.
There's no toffee stand.
Right past the cobblers, and then you get right down to the bakery where the butchers will have your eye out, my love.
I feel like I leapt into a time warp and I just met Dick Van Dyke.
Oh, I love
you. You have a worse British accent than Dick Van Dyke.
What is it? Step in time?
Step
in time. I used to bloody love that one scene in Mary Poppins.
I haven't watched Mary Poppins in so long. They're doing that like sequel/remake/reboot, aren't they?
Like dark, gritty remakes and shit like that.
Really? It's like what happens to Mary Poppins? She gets raped.
Oh, I was going to say PTSD, but...
It starts with rape, okay, and she's getting over it.
Yeah, and that's how the magic began.
And also she falls in love with the children's father, and he helps her get over the PTSD.
But he's
then it's a love triangle with the chimney sweep.
Yeah.
We should write this shit.
Man, dude, like, the father is a lawyer who's trying to help her case, and he's helping her out of a job with this kid's thing, but because she's displaying all these weird things with the kids, he's thinking twice about helping her out of her rape case, and it all becomes, like, a real serious fucking drama. And then Dick Van Dyke comes down the chimney.
Just comes down the chimney.
And it's not even a gritty remake.
Are we setting this in 2016? Because we have no chimney sweeps now. We have no chimneys now.
It'll be a steampunk reimagining.
Oh, so okay. So it'll be an alternate universe, won't it?
Yeah, like modern day, but no one moved past the Victorian era, but we all have all these mechanical arms and shit.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Oh, yeah. Love it.
I imagine Phil Mitchell as the dad.
And he's the lawyer that's trying to help her out as well.
He's got a blonde toupee.
I think you're thinking of a certain president-elect.
Oh, I can't... Yeah, he's ruined blonde toupees for everyone.
I'm sorry, when were they good?
And it's not even fake. It's his real fucking hair.
I don't believe it. I think it's really shitty hair plugs.
You know, I don't care because a blonde toupee is still awesome. He can go fuck himself and, you know, whatever he does is on his own time. So. Have
you watched that My Scientology movie by Louis Theroux?
Not yet. My friend Ben went and saw it in the cinema at HMV in Wimbledon.
Yeah. It did not change my mind about Scientologists, I'm not going to lie.
No,
I was not a fan of them before, and I'm still not a fan of them now. I've seen them in action.
Well, Louis Theroux, I think he knows that they are weird, and he doesn't play to their strengths. He tries to see the
he
objectives
was really
of it.
smart about it. He incited them. Because they wouldn't cooperate with him. It would have been so much easier if they had cooperated with him. They would probably come off better. But no, they reacted to him making a documentary.
Oh dear! And did they try to stalk him and things like that?
Pretty much, and they brought they hired a cameraman to say, "I'm making a documentary about you if you're making one of me." And then they said, "You know what? You filming me is harassment." And then he's just like, "But you're filming me right now. So what is that?" They closed off a public road. So he couldn't get in, and then he was like, "No, this is a public road. This is actually a public road." And he was like, "No, it's private property. It's private property."
They're like zealots, aren't they?
Yeah, they really are. Like, I don't understand how people can think they're not insane.
I think it's because we have so many different crazy places in the world where, because Scientology, it doesn't seem to try and hide it. It almost... They do stand out, but they're almost kind of normal. Like West Barrow Baptist Church, like when Louis Theroux went to talk to them as well. And then you've got the Ku Klux Klan that are rising up again. And
thanks to a certain president-elect.
Ironically, the same year Birth of a Nation had a remake.
I still haven't seen that. I really want to watch it.
Yeah, someone told me it was actually really, really good.
Yeah, apparently people are really annoyed that Idris Elba wasn't up for the Oscar because it was a Netflix movie.
Well, of course he's not. He's a black man.
They nominate black men. I mean...
I know.
Yeah. We've had the Oscar So White episode, Chris. You weren't there, I don't think.
Yeah, I missed it.
You miss a lot of things,
I was too busy accepting awards.
For what?
That one video I made about a fridge, the one.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. That was in first year, weren't it?
Yeah, my God.
Yeah. I remember mine, it was...
That was the one with the fat guy who threw the chips. Yeah. I love that.
It looked like it was going to be a very serious movie, and then it turns out, no, it's actually a comedy.
That's why I liked it, because it kind of blended that dark humour with a dark dramedy.
Like you died from eating a crisp.
It was dark dramedy. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I like that. It's like that's a great genre to get into if you can.
I liked the one that I did in second year, not because of the content, because you were there while I was editing it and just watching your reaction. Because it was like a fanboy. It was like me doing fanboyism just in a script.
Yeah, what one was that?
It was about them having a movie night.
Yeah, I remember that.
So it was just set in one location, them geeking out with one another. Was
Bouton in that?
No, I don't think I'd met Bouton at that point. I don't think.
It was early second year meeting, I think. But yeah, I remember that one, yeah.
Yeah, because you just laughed, and I was like, okay, so I have one audience member that will laugh. Because comedy is subjective. But then I didn't know at the time that you just laugh over anything. Like, you're so whorish with your laughs. You give them out to anyone.
Oh, well, I find a lot of things easy to laugh at.
No, but you can't do that, Chris, because it's like me. I don't smile and laugh every minute of every day, because then people are going to think it's not important. When I do, then you'll know that something good has happened, something special has happened, something unique.
Well, think of it this way. I don't always tend to laugh with people, or sometimes I'm laughing at them. So my laughs are varied. It's not always me whoring myself out. Sometimes it's just a wank laugh, Just for me.
We should, use it a lot, that word. The double... I'd say it could be hyphenated. Yeah. Wank laugh. And use it enough to get it in the Oxford Dictionary, because they've got, selfie and all that bullshit in there.
but make it German, so pronounce it with a V, so it's a wank laugh.
As the wank laugh.
A wank laugh.
What we do the French, and now we do the German.
You clever chappie. You made me have a wank laugh.
This is a wank laugh.
Yeah, and you have to say a T at the end to really make it German as well.
Yes, this is a wank laugh.
Yes, a wank laughed.
A wank laughed.
Ha ha.
Oh my God, we're being so offensive.
No, we're not.
So, well, actually, I don't think there are many French or German listeners. And if you're out there, you need to get a sense of humour if you're offended by us to continue.
You're recognising the points of their language that are fact. You're not taking the piss out of them.
Yeah, I can take the piss out of British accent. I do it all the time.
Yeah, British accent is
like
funny.
Those people from Newcastle.
Which ones?
The Geordies.
Oh yeah.
I've been born and raised in Britain, right? I still sometimes don't know what the fuck they're saying.
That's racist, Tarmin.
But it's true.
Yeah,
do you understand what they're saying all the time? No.
I didn't say I wasn't racist.
And then they talk so fast. I don't understand. Britain is tiny. Why are there so many accents? Okay, can't we just all have the one accent?
No.
It's less confusing.
Variation is the spice of life. Even in London, we have loads of different accents. Look at us
Yeah,
right now.
I think that's more than enough. Like, do we need Liverpudlians? Do we need Geordies? No.
I'm not going to debate whether we need Liverpudlians because I'm going to come off as a hater. But everyone else, it's all cool. I'm trying. I love Liverpool too. But yeah, like, variation is good,
Liverpool.
Sometimes you get confused. Liverpool. Like,
the Liverpudlians always sound like they're on helium or something.
What is the...
I'm from Liverpool?
What's the name for that linguistic style where the end of your sentence sounds like a question, even if it isn't?
I don't know. What's it called?
Yeah, but it raises the pitch at the very end.
Yeah.
So everything like that?
I don't even know what I'd search. I'm about to Google it. I don't know what I'd search.
But even so, like that's what used to annoy me about Liverpool, but now I found it quite endearing. So yeah. But speaking of murders.
This one isn't even about murder.
No.
Speaking about the rape of the English language.
Oh, yes.
Boom! That works better.
Yeah. Oh, maybe you get a better transition.
Yeah,
that's a good
speaking
rape.
of the rape of the English language.
Yeah, that's a good rape, Tarman. You know what my favourite rape was?
No, we had it right there, the wank cloth, okay? We could have tried to transition it into rape, and then the rape, and then, this.
So we always hit these touchy subjects so easily.
Speaking of touchy... Yeah, that didn't work as well. I think we should do the intro music, and then we'll have time to compose ourselves, and the listeners will forget the mess that we just had.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay. So, Tarmin, please, can you put it in here? That'll be great. I said put it in. What? Why are you being a bitch for? Tarmin, just put it now.
Just put it in there.
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
Welcome to the Dorks Deduction Podcast, where we talk about stuff.
Good, finally, you bastard.
The
future me is such a bitch.
Yeah, she's not a bastard. That's the male version.
Oh, but she could be a male. She has more balls than you.
Yeah.
She has to wear... She can't even wear tighty whities. They're too tight.
You should have said bigger balls, not more.
More balls?
You freak.
I have like 5 balls right now.
And the funny thing is, that doesn't even make you a man. That's just what...
Maybe I'm one of the 68 genders.
Oh, what the... Mine, were you a fluid alpachi? One of those.
Oh, God. How much do you think I'm going to laugh during this episode?
What, about rape? I hope none.
Look, Chris, because I know you're an expert on it, so do you want to tell us what we're talking about this week?
You can't just start it up like that. You can't, even with us, even with our jokes, you can't just say, speaking of rape, I know you're an expert on this subject.
I said this subject. Not just rape, I meant this person and this case.
That's no.
If more people objected during this trial, we wouldn't have anything to talk about. Boom, objection.
Oh, okay. Well,
I object, Your Honour.
I agree, but at the same time, what I like about this story is it's one of the first cases of forensics and DNA actually helping out.
Helping out, convict, helping out.
Well, actually, it almost screwed him over.
Yeah. Okay, so we should probably tell them what it's about.
Yeah.
So, do you want to do that?
I get the names wrong.
Okay, all right. So, once upon a time, there was a girl. She lived in foster homes I don't know if it was her whole life, but at least part of her life. She was a victim of the system. The girl's name was Kathleen, also known as Cathy Crowell, later known as Cathy Crowell Webb. So one day, in 1977, July the 9th that was, a police officer saw her in disarray, covered in dirt and scruffy clothing. In a state of panic, she said that she had been attacked in a parking lot by 3 men who dragged her into a car, and the man at the front of the car proceeded to rip off her clothes and rape her. Not only did the man rape her, but apparently he used a broken glass bottle to carve some shit on her stomach. And I say some shit is because it's on the other page, and I don't know which page that carving is on, but it's somewhere.
I was just about to say, if this is a real case, you'd be in such deep shit.
I'm not a fucking lawyer. I may watch Suits, but that's bullshit law, and we all know it. You watch because you want to see grown-up people be bastards. I actually got most of it right without looking at it.
Oh, well, I don't know. Well, you didn't sound like you. You sound like you were reading off it.
Yes. So she gave a description to the police officer, who was a friendly man. The person that matched the description of her assailant was Mr. Gary Dotson, although he was said to be in the other side of the city, the other part of the city at the time. I didn't say what city it was, didn't I? Shit. What city was it, Chris? What city was it?
It was Chicago town, Westville.
In West Philadelphia, born and raised. In a playground is where she spent most of her days.
Raping and sex.
No. Having sex underage and then blaming other men for it. So, yeah, we're skipping ahead a little bit, aren't we?
Yes.
Okay, so she gave her statement to the police and they wrote up a mugshot. They drew up a mugshot. And apparently, according to Cathy, she was forced to pick Gary Dotson, who was already in the system, so probably not the greatest man alive, but it might have just been for petty things, because he looked a bit like the composite sketch. So, based on her testimony and an array of other things that should not have actually been involved in the trial, he was convicted to 25 to 50 years in prison, which seems really harsh for rape. I mean, you don't get that much in England, do you? I mean, I know rape's a bad thing. It's a good thing that if an actual rapist got that.
Yeah, but you get people that get out straight away. But the thing is, it's tricky because then you get cases like this, which
call everything into question.
Exactly.
Okay, so the trial proceeded, and he was convicted in July 1979 because of her testimony and the fact that someone that says that he was a lab technician or forensic expert, even though he actually only went to a 2-day course in the University of California. A 2-day course apparently makes you an expert. So I think we're an expert in criminology at this point, and myth and comedy.
We're pretty deep in it.
Yeah, we're pretty deep. So because of his, evidence, which was that he found Dotson's blood type on her body, which is type B, which is 10% of the American population. But what he left out of his findings was that Cathy, let's just call her Cathy. Cathy was also type B. So it was her own fucking DNA. Mm-hmm. And like I said before, he had alibi witnesses putting him across the city on the day of the attack, the supposed attack. But yet, even with all the inconsistencies, his alibi witnesses, for some reason, they were just assumed to be lying because apparently there were inconsistencies in their story, yada, 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 even though those inconsistencies... I can't say the bloody word today, can I? Inconsistencies in her story. And this expert, who is also known as a 2-day course goer, which we could all do. I did more forensic science than him in school. I actually did like a 6-week course. Fuck it. I should go to trial for these people.
It's annoying when you see someone like this. But then again, you got to remember it's early days with stuff,
Yeah, but he did a 2-day course, and apparently he's a forensic expert, Chris.
Yeah,
that's
it shouldn't
my
be an
point.
excuse, really. It shouldn't be an excuse.
It's not an excuse. I mean, the prosecution should get disbarred or something. Okay, so anyway, because of all this, he ended up being convicted to 25 to 50 years. And a few years later, in 1981, Crowell, who was then Crowell Webb because she'd married her husband, who was also called Webb. His name's David. She married David Webb, and then she was Cathy Crowell Webb. I'm doing most of this by not looking, Chris, so don't fucking laugh at me.
I will laugh.
Okay, so Cathy Crowell Webb, she became a born-again Christian, and you know how lovely those people are. She obviously felt a lot of guilt about what she had done... Oh, I didn't even fucking say it, did I? Well, this guy didn't do it if you hadn't noticed.
The big drop.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Gary Dotson hadn't actually done it. So, Cathy, she'd been having sex with her boyfriend, which was consensual, and she was afraid that she might be pregnant. So, to cover that up, for some reason, she said that she'd been raped and she fingered a guy. Well, no, she didn't actually stick her finger... Like, she picked out a guy that did it. And that guy was Gary Dotson.
Well, great choice.
And now
of
I
words.
can continue.
Yeah.
This is a mess, this episode. Because I'm trying to do it all from memory, so I'm trying to shit it all out of my mouth. So we can talk about it.
You're doing a good job.
Yeah. So Cathy, she found some guilt, and she talked to her priest or whatever born-again Christians talk to, and he convinced her to come forward, and with her help, she tried to get the case reopened. She said that she was lying. She went to a prosecutor, but they thought it was unbelievable that she would lie about being raped, which is unbelievable to me. I mean, why would someone lie about being raped? I mean, that makes you a sick human being. Because that also, the amount of people that lie about rape, it just affects the people that don't, and the people that don't get justice for it, because people just always assume you're lying.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't listen to her, even though she this was the person that said that had been done originally, and now she's actually saying no, it actually didn't happen. She has no reason to turn around and say no, it actually didn't happen. I was 16, I was stupid, and I was scared.
She recanted.
Yeah, she recanted
there was still some problems with the system on that charge, because they had their man. Even the victim was saying.
I understand why they wouldn't want to admit that they did wrong, but they had her. She'd admitted that she lied. I mean, they could easily turn around and say, this person lied, that's why this guy was convicted. And they wouldn't have to pay out a penny to Gary Dotson if he tried to sue. The only person he could sue would be her.
Yeah.
So they could easily just convict her to make up for the fact that they've convicted this person wrongly. But they didn't do it. They ignored it because they didn't want to make a big hubbub around it. So his lawyer eventually went to the press, and because of press pressure, I mean, he didn't get pardoned or anything. He didn't get his conviction overturned. He just got his sentence commuted after spending 10 years in prison for a crime he didn't commit.
Bloody hell.
And even, like, when they were going over the evidence, I mean, it was all a mess. It turns out, like, she wasn't actually raped that day. I mean, they did all the swabs and they did the tests, and the prosecution hid the fact that she'd actually had sex at least a day earlier. So it was a complete mess. And so there was loads of inconsistencies that came up. But basically what we're talking about is the fact that this guy was in prison for something that he didn't do. And it's widely accepted that he didn't commit this crime. Yeah, it's still on his, like, records, I guess, because it got commuted. It didn't get scrubbed clean or anything. And how we feel about this woman.
It's just a bloody mess, Tarman.
I know, it's a bloody fucking shambles.
Just a bloody shambles.
Yeah, I don't know why I was looking at wrongful convictions, at 2 a.m. the other night. But I made a list of loads of them, but this one was the least depressing because he wasn't sentenced to death. So that's a good thing.
When you go through wrongful convictions, already you're dealing with a tragic subject anyway. But this at least has its happy ending, you know. And if anything, thank goodness it was only a couple of years.
What, a couple?
It was a couple, yeah.
No, it wasn't a couple of years.
It was 1997.
1997 is when she said it happened, and when she said it was him. He got convicted in 1977. Not 77, 1979.
Yes, my
he didn't get released until 1989.
1989 was when he was released. I confused the actual conviction in early 80s.
Yeah, no, it's just because so that went on for like 12 years. Like, because the case, it took 2 years to get to trial, and he was still convicted on flimsy evidence that wasn't actually evidence.
Yeah.
And I feel for him, I really do.
Yeah, it was such a shame.
10 years is a long time for an adult. I mean, it's a long time for anyone, but 10 years, that's a whole chunk of your life, and it's going to fuck up his future.
Yeah, he'll never live it down.
Yeah, I know, because on his record, it's going to say, I'm a convicted felon. I mean, when he applies for jobs, when he applies for home, he had a wife and daughter as well at the time. It's horrible. He's just missed out on his child growing up. His whole life is just in complete shambles.
Even if he is wrongly convicted, it still goes down as a felony, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's such a bad system.
Yeah, because he didn't, well, if his conviction was overturned, or if he got pardoned, it's fine. His record would be wiped from that conviction. I mean, I don't know what he did before, because he must have done something, because his mugshots were in the system. I think he did some, like, robbery or something like that. Where is it? I don't know. Well, I'm assuming. I can't see it here. I don't know where I saw robbery, but I think he was convicted because they had mugshots of him. And you can only do that if you've been arrested, right?
Yeah.
What was I even saying? I can't even remember.
You were talking about how these wrongful convictions...
Oh, yes. So, so it wasn't wiped clean. I mean, it's still on his record on the day he dies. A part of his life, or that he was convicted for a rape, and it got commuted. It didn't get overturned, and it's not like he can sue anyone, because again, it didn't get overturned or anything like that.
And the fact that these wrongful convictions, they don't go off your record, or there's no pardoning. It stays with you. So
yeah,
that's such a weird system.
I know, it's really, if someone didn't do anything, yet they still got convicted. I mean, if we found out that they hadn't done it, then they need an apology. If they want to sue, like, I hate the sue culture. I hate it when people sue other people for no reason. But they have a reason to bloody sue. He lost 10 years of his life. I mean, not just he lost 10 years of his life. It's not like he was out of work for 10 years or anything else, anywhere else for 10 years. He was in prison. It's a hard place with convicted felons. He's in there with actual murderers, because rape is like a violent crime. So I'm assuming he'd be in like those maximum prison type places. I mean, he was in there with actual murderers, actual rapists, actual child molesters, actual violent people. You don't know what he's gone through in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially if he wasn't actually built for that and he wasn't capable of that.
Oof,
and you have no idea how much that's going to fuck someone up when they come out on the outside. Like, you hear these stories about these people, they're not actually all that violent, but they've done something wrong and they go to prison, and that completely fucks them up. Because they end up being someone's bitch, or they have to do other things, the things that they never thought they'd do to survive.
Just to survive, you know.
Yeah, it's horrible. Do you have anything to say?
To be honest, it's you kind of covered it, because what I was thinking was it was going to be about the system itself. It's just it goes on to a bigger thing where I'm glad that forensic evidence has advanced as far as it has, to the point where we've actually been able to tell what nationality Jack the Ripper is now.
Well, no, actually, that's not true.
Oh, really?
Well, think about how old that handkerchief is and how many hands it's been through. I mean, you can't actually determine anything through that evidence. It's not like it was locked away for 100 years.
That's true.
So I think that's BS. I mean, yeah, he could have been a suspect, but I don't think that determines fuck all.
The point remains, though, the fact that they can actually do that and go back that far with that sort of DNA is impressive. But, you know, just a couple of years ago, we were letting people with 2 days worth of experience, you know, judging the system. So it's
Chris,
just...
you're thinking that all of this is in the past. I mean, do you want to know how I found out this case?
Oh, go on.
I was looking at a list of wrongful convictions, and they haven't slowed down as we reach 2016.
Oh, I haven't said wrongful convictions have slowed down.
No, I'm just saying that this stuff happens, these mistakes are made, and it's still happening, and people are being wrongly convicted as of today. It could be happening right now.
Surely not in the case of this guy had... They check for blood in the victim as well as on the assailant.
No, it happens. It genuinely happens, and you don't know how corrupt the state that's doing it is. Like, you watched Making a Murderer, or you've at least heard about it?
I've watched a few episodes.
Yeah, that fucking happened.
Yeah.
To be fair, I haven't watched till the end, but that fucking happened, and that was only a few years ago.
What you have to remember is that the documentary itself, apparently they found inconsistencies with both sides. The first case where he was put in jail, that was a wrongful conviction.
Yeah, and he was in the middle of suing the state because of that conviction, and then for some reason they found the remains of this missing woman, and it was actually that county that he was suing had been all over it. So yeah, it's a mess. Basically, that shouldn't. He might have done it. He might not have.
We don't know.
But the thing is, with that thing, that should have just been a mistrial, because everything was tampered with, everything was corrupt.
Yep.
I mean, there's no evidence on either side.
They went to his bloody house and, put stuff around.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, he could have done it. He might not have. But there's no way that he should have been convicted on that evidence alone. Like, Serial, you know, did you listen to that podcast, Serial?
No.
Okay, well, the guy that got convicted for it, I think the same way about him. I don't know who killed that girl, but I know that he shouldn't have been sent to prison for it. He might have done it, but looking at the overview of the trial, all the evidence, all the witnesses, he shouldn't have been convicted.
Nah, that's true.
No. So, like, I don't think a conviction should go through unless you're 110% sure, because you're really affecting someone's life if you do that.
That's true, yeah. Shit. Well, to be honest, I don't really have much else to say on this subject.
I have stuff to say about Cathy.
Yeah. Oh wait, yes, I do have some other things to say. This 180-degree turn she did, I found her annoying, but I also found her surprising as a character as well, because it was her. Well, I don't want to say it was her religion that made her do it, but it kind of was.
No, she wasn't religious before.
And she wasn't religious before,
no. It was when she was a born-again Christian, she decided she would come forward.
She confessed to her priest, didn't she, or something?
Yeah, so her reasoning behind it was she didn't want to upset her foster parents and let them know that she was having consensual sex, even though she'd been having it since the age of 12. And to be honest, I do feel a bit sorry for her for that. It was like, it's not her fault that she has to feel that way at 16 if she's been sexually active at 12. I mean, she's just a child. She should be protected. But also, 16, you're not a fucking idiot, are you? You know how the world works. You know the consequences of your actions. Some
people are a little less accepting to face up to something they've done, you know?
Yeah, but it was just sex. It was just sex.
And in her case, she was afraid that they were going to turn her loose or turn her out.
Maybe, because she's 16, so I don't know how it works in America for foster children, but I think when you're 16 in Britain and you're a foster child, you have to go to a halfway house. You don't stay in the homes.
Yeah.
And you don't get fostered. So I don't know if it's like that in America, but then their age is... I mean, everyone's a child until they're 18 in America, aren't they?
Yeah.
So I don't know how it works there. But yeah, okay, I felt sorry for her in that bit, because she's having sex since she's 12. She'd been groomed into thinking it's okay or something. Who knows what happened to her to make her have sex at 12, because 12-year-olds clearly shouldn't be having sex, even though it's 2016 and we all know that there are plenty of 12-year-olds having sex, which is disgusting.
We all did it.
Did we? Yeah, we all did it, Chris.
We all had sex with 12-year-olds.
I've never actually been ashamed of something that we... Actually, no, I've been ashamed frequently, I'm not going to lie, but...
No,
yeah, that joke, Chris.
I'm totally ashamed as well.
That wasn't funny.
I'm equally as proud on how quickly I shut that all down.
that wasn't even funny. That's just so many levels of wrong.
I know, right?
Yeah. Anyway, we were talking about Cathy. Okay, so my point is, 16, she's not a fucking idiot. I don't understand how 16-year-olds are classed as children when they do something wrong. I mean, they're not. They know exactly what they're doing.
It's a convenient age, really, because you can still be classed as silly for doing something because you're young, but technically you're an adult and you should be a bit more smart about how you approach things. You know, you're a young adult, and, you know, it's just, it's a bit awkward.
Yeah. So she decided a few years later that it made her feel guilty, and she went to the priest, which is good. She's actually, you know, confronting what she's done wrong and trying to make amends for it. But I don't think it's enough.
Yeah, this is where I bring it into. She's doing it because she felt guilty.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's still kind of selfish, because she's doing it to make herself feel right. You know, I'm not sure if she's actually doing it because she probably felt bad.
Yeah.
But did she feel bad because
did she feel bad enough to put herself in his place?
Was it because of the fear of God, or was it because she felt guilty because she wants to make things right for herself, and not the other way around?
Yeah.
So I still don't really know. Morally, it's good. And it's the right thing to do.
I'm glad that she did it eventually.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
because he could still be there now.
Yeah.
I mean, he got 25 to 50 years, so technically he could still be there. Or he could be dead. You never know. People get shanked in prison all the time.
Yeah.
But fail to understand why she didn't get convicted for perjury, given a false statement.
Well, for one thing, the guy, he actually agreed not to countersue her. Oh, wait, no.
This is what I'm talking about, though. I don't understand the prosecution's thought in that, because the sentence got commuted. It should have been quashed, because it's totally clear that he didn't do it. Yeah. And to save face, they could have just convicted her for lying, and they could have just done the best thing. That is the best thing. He got sent to prison for 10 years for a lie that she told when she's a young adult. I'm not calling her a child. She's a young adult.
I think it does come down to the fact that she told the truth, and by sending her to prison for that, which they would have been in their right to do anyway, would it have detracted other people from telling the truth on what they've done, you know?
Maybe it would teach people not to fucking lie.
Not to lie, but then it would also teach people not to tell the truth after they've made that big lie.
Most of the time they don't tell the truth anyway.
And it was her choice to come forward with it and recant the evidence.
I also question that a little bit. I mean, she confessed to her priest in confession. He could have easily pressured her into it.
He could have, yeah, because it would have been the right thing to do anyway. And morally, you know, it's confessions aren't always supposed to be advice centres, you know. But he may have, in a subtle way or another, said, you know, look into your heart and see what the right thing is to do. But again, that's when it comes off as a little bit fake. She did write a book on the whole incident, like Forgive Me, I think the book was called.
But she gave either all the proceeds or half the proceeds. I can't remember. Do you know?
Yeah, she gave all the proceeds, which is around $17,000. But honestly, it's not easily not enough for how many years he lost. But
yeah, he lost 10 years. A lot of people, they make that much a year, let's say minimum.
I admire her for trying her best to make amends for what she had. But then again, she died quite young, didn't she, anyway?
She died in 2008.
2008.
And if she was 16 in 19...
She was about, 40-something? That's quite young.
Yeah, she was about 47 when she died. Because, I just knew that off the top of my head, because she died in 2008 and she was 16 in 1977. So it's pretty easy for me to figure that out, Chris.
Okay.
Yeah.
No calculators needed, right?
No calculators. I mean, also, I didn't need to edit this bit at all.
Of course.
Yeah, I didn't break for 30 seconds to just add up.
I didn't think
and
so.
Minus and then stuff. Divide. I always forget about the division. I could do that on Countdown, but I never do. I was just like trying to add or subtract. And I was like, why isn't it working? You know what I never understood? Why you can't square. Because 25 squared. That easily, like, I could get whatever random bullshit number is up there. Anyway.
just stop.
Just stop. I also pause in the middle of Countdown just to catch
You'll destroy yourself. You'll destroy your persona.
That I'm an intelligent young human being.
Your all-knowing persona, yes.
Yeah, people just assume I'm intelligent at work. I'm just like, no, you should put me outside of work.
Don't let them know. Don't let them know. You got to keep
I think that slowly the facade is slipping anyway.
Yeah, so just let them find out themselves, you know.
So Cathy Crowell Webb, well, she should have, I feel by all rights, she should go to prison. Because, I mean, I don't like the fact, me being a woman, I don't like the fact that someone could falsely accuse another man of rape. I mean, and, like, it was widely publicised that she was lying. So there's so much stigma in someone coming out and saying they've been sexually assaulted as it is. And people don't get the convictions even when it does happen to them. I just hate the fact that someone's lying about it.
Yeah, it's a really shitty thing to do. And to do it for so long, it's deplorable.
Yeah. Are you using the word deplorable now as well?
Yeah.
God. Trump supporters use that word a lot.
No, it's Hillary supporters, actually.
No, it's Trump supporters have been using it.
Oh,
and I like it when they misspell it, and I tell them they've misspelled it.
Oh, you're one of them.
Misspelt it, sorry.
No,
I said misspelt it.
Shot yourself in the foot there.
I always correct myself.
Ah, good.
You've listened to these episodes, have you not?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so this is a sad case, but it's probably the best possible outcome, if we're going to be perfectly honest.
It's, for what it could have been.
I mean, out of all the depressing things I noted down from that, I thought this one would be the most lighthearted. And that's saying something.
He's still alive, isn't he?
He's still alive. He's living in Chicago, I think it is. Let me just take a look.
She died at 40.
As of 2008, he was living in Chicago with his daughter.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him, mate. And, he didn't hold a grudge. I'm sure he was pissed, but at the same time, he just went on his way.
Well, I think he was more realistic about it. I mean, he knew he wasn't actually going to get anything out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have publicised the shit out of it and earned loads of money from the media. All those interviews about him being falsely imprisoned. But, it'll probably be like the making a murderer thing. I mean, he gets out for something else.
Maybe. Yeah, it depends on how many villains and enemies he makes in that place. But
it seems like the American courts are very corrupt.
Oh, yeah, come on. I mean, they make money by keeping them in there, don't they?
Yeah.
But if anything, I'm glad he's out. And it's very rare you see a nice ending.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like I said, this was like the most light-hearted case I could get. There were so many that were sentenced to death and it had actually gone through. There was one case, I've forgotten the name. I think I've written it down. There was a fire, right?
Yes.
And a man and his 3 children were in it. His 3 children died. Oh. For some reason, the prosecution believed that the fire was set deliberately and he did it. So they convicted him for killing his 3 children, but and sentenced him to death. I think it was. I can't remember if he actually got executed or not. I'll need to look that up. But he got sentenced to death for killing his 3 children, when it's actually just a grieving man that's lost his 3 children in accidental fire.
What a bloody turnaround! What was the evidence?
I don't know what the evidence was. I think the fire people actually said, well, we don't actually see any signs of foul play. So I don't actually know what the evidence... I didn't look, because I told you it was 2, 3 in the morning. I don't know why I was on there. All I know is that I was on there. But, and then I was looking... There's such a long list on Wikipedia, and that's not even a complete list.
Yeah.
Such a long list of... And I only looked at the ones for the last 60, 70 years. Not even 60, 70. Say about the last 50 years.
Yeah.
Such a huge amount of people. And they have the wrongful convictions going back centuries on there. And this was just in America as well, this list. Yeah. Oh, God. If I had like a few days, I'd probably go through all of them, but I didn't, so I just skim read and I just decided to. I noted some down that I wanted to look into in the future, so we might get another one of these.
Well,
at some point.
We'll see, but things are going to get easier, child. So
what?
Don't worry. You're like sometimes you just got to hold out for a good ending.
What are you talking about now?
I don't know.
I was saying we might get another one of these wrongful conviction things, because I made a note of quite a few that I wanted to look into.
I'm just saying, with some of these bad times like he had, you just got to wait sometimes, and things will hopefully iron themselves out.
Yeah. Can I also just say, before we sign off or say goodbye or have our little anecdotal end, that I'm a really big fan of the Innocence Project in America.
The Innocence Project?
Yeah.
Do explain.
The Innocence Project is a project that tries to help people on death row or that have been wrongfully convicted, get their convictions overturned or get them released at least if they're on death row. So it's like a non-profit type thing, and it does that.
That is a good thing.
Yeah, so I big up to the Innocence Project, and I hope they get more funding to help out other people that have been wrongly convicted.
Me too.
Yeah, so I just wanted a sentimental moment, because we took the piss all the way through this episode about fake rape and false imprisonment.
Out of context, that would make us sound like such horrible people. Yeah,
but if you're a regular listener to this, you already know that morally, we're really fucked up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 1 week something could offend us, the next week we're making fun of that thing.
I'm sure we're near the dark side, aren't we?
We've always been teetering along the line, I think. I think that's the best way to be, because we can't be too PC, because then what the fuck is the point of you?
The good thing is we'd make some great Jedi, Sith. We'd be Sith, I think.
Yeah, I don't really do Star Wars.
I know you don't.
Okay. But if we were too PC, we'd be boring, and this episode would be droning on. If we were so morally corrupt, then we would be Trump supporters. So we're like in the middle. We're liberal, but we're not too PC about it.
We're not extremists.
Yeah, we're not. We're how you should be.
We're how you guys should be.
Yeah, so you should aspire to be
we,
like us.
We are you. We are a mirror held up as society.
Yeah. Well, no, we're not, because they're not as good as us.
Oh, right back with a rebuttal from Tom. Well, in that case, maybe we should start wrapping up, because I think we're too
They don't even know how to Google. They listen to us instead.
I know, right?
Oh, it's such lazy. We have to type and read. Why don't people read anymore? Why are you listening to us?
Why are you listening to us?
Go to the park and read a book.
I mean, I know why you're listening to us, of course.
I mean, like other people. I mean, just carry on downloading us. Even if you're not listening to us, just download us.
Yeah,
I do.
Come on, guys. Get with the program.
Yeah.
Chop, chop.
Chop, chop. Oh, yeah. What happened to Matt, Chris?
Oh, yeah. He's not there anymore. I haven't. I think he may be on the run.
Oh.
So
how did he get out of the well? He had no hands anymore.
I saw scrapes. I don't know where those scrapes came from the inside, but I'm going to go tracking him after the podcast is over.
Oh, okay.
We won't get very far.
All right.
You know, he must be quite weak. We've only fed him like chunks of meat.
And that was over the course of what, like a couple of months?
A couple of months. So he should be quite fairly weak. And also, he's not exactly had enough room to exercise, so that meat may have actually weighed him down a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's had a good poop. Maybe the bottom of the world must be disgusting at this point.
It's another layer.
He put some potpourri out when we were down there with him, but I don't think he always makes that much of an effort.
Nah. It's only because we came.
Yeah, we came to visit him. Anyway.
We'll find him.
Yeah. Anyway, I kind of want to do one of these again, these wrongful conviction ones.
It'd be good, yeah.
Yeah. It was fun, and it was easy, and you Googled it.
Yes,
It's hard to get you to Google stuff, I've realised.
Well, it's hard to make time sometimes.
You're like the listeners that I was just talking about that can't bother to Google or read.
Yeah, I suppose so. But it's because I'm in the real world, Tom. I'm in the real world.
Fuck off, Chris. You're one of those. You should be more like me.
Yeah, I should get more time
I printed off this shit while I was at work.
Oh, you had time to do that, didn't you?
No, it was like a shit, fuck, dick, cunt day. Not even shit, fuck, dick. Shit, fuck, dick, cunt day.
Should do your work, Tom. Poor patients waiting in that ward.
So many fucking people I have to deal with every day. It's just really ridiculous. I can't be bothered with it. And I have to do it tomorrow, and then I have to do it the next day. It's just fucking hell, man.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
It'll be over soon.
But I was actually teaching my colleague about Gary Dotson because she was asking what I was printing out, and I said, well, okay, just read this. And he was like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened to him. That's disgusting. Mm-hmm. It's like, what happened to her? And I was like, nothing. It's like, why? So she agreed with me.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good.
But then I sort of gave her a live episode, so she's not going to bother downloading this, is she?
All right.
Not that she's ever downloaded it before, or I tell colleagues that I do this.
Well, not now. Now you've told her.
No, I've told her now. She doesn't.
You got her a little bit involved. That's what counts.
Yeah. I opened her mind. I introduced her to this person, and I hope we will introduce you to him too.
Yeah. And I hope you guys keep your minds open about wrongful convictions. And when I go down, you know, hopefully I'll have those
when you go down, we know it's for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. When I go down,
you literally just admitted in this episode you've had sex with 12-year-olds.
No, don't say it like that. I was joking. It was just I was shutting down your cast.
You're not going to be back next episode.
The funny thing is, it was actually meant to be a different joke, but it came out wrong, so I just went with it. Yeah, like it was meant to be. Yeah, we all know what it's like to get sexually molested, but then it came out as fuck 12-year-olds.
Yeah,
but then I thought, oh fuck it, let's just go with it. Save some face.
Yeah, because we've been sexually molested sounds better than we've had sex with 12-year-olds.
Well, it doesn't sound good. It sounds better, but it doesn't sound good.
Oh God, you are the one that gave us Jimmy Savile, so
yeah.
Oh God, maybe you're the most morally corrupt one out of all of us. If you ever go to trial, does that mean I have to be a witness?
Well, hopefully.
That's not going to work out good for you, though, is it?
You can tell them what my real fetish is, not that. You know,
do you have balloon fetish?
That's not his fetish. His real ones are worse.
I caught him rubbing up against my spuds and I had to throw him away.
Oh! Yeah, all right.
He hollowed one out and everything. Oh, I couldn't eat it. I haven't had a jack of potato since.
You should say, he said he was playing hot potato, but I thought the point of the game was you're supposed to throw it away once you touch it, not fuck it.
Oh God, this whole podcast is going to be used as evidence against you. Me and Matt are like the least incriminating as well.
Yeah, but you've been harbouring me.
No, I have not, because we do this through.
I'm taking you down, bitch.
We do this through beep. We're not even beep.
We're not even beep.
Yeah.
Beeping the beeping
You're not
shit
even
out
beep.
that beep.
I'm in beep and you're in beep.
I love it if you just had a sentence, but you were getting the beeps in the wrong place. So it'd be like, beep,
Beep.
fucking them hard, beep. You know.
I should just do an episode where I'm putting in random beeps.
Like
I can't be bothered to do that.
Yeah. When we finally find out how Matt got out of the well, and it's like a big spoiler, and then on the Revelation episode, when we were about to say it's all beeped out.
Yeah. So Matt, see, this thing happened where I went to the well, and when I chucked some food down, it just went clunk at the bottom, like it just hit like loads of shit, and then beep.
And then I just come back like, wow, that is incredible.
Yeah. This was actually it, Chris. We were doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I know that's an incredible story, right? What Matt did and where he ended up. Oh my God.
It's crazy.
And he gave the beep to the beep.
You can't do that before 9 o'clock.
I know, right? The pre-watershed and then beep.
And I know it's real life as well, but Jesus
My
Christ.
beeps sound annoying as well.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to try and hide it. I'm not going to put an extra beep on. That's it. Because I hate having to look for beeps because I have to look for the right length, the right pitch. And I search through many beeps to get a proper beep.
Well, not if you sound edit the beep. You can cut it in the middle.
Yeah, I know, but it still doesn't sound right sometimes. Sometimes it's too short, too quick. So I'll just use my beep.
Oh, right, your own beep.
My own beep.
I think
What, did you actually think I was going to go back and edit beeps into this?
Nah, definitely not.
I've basically annoyed everyone by doing beep.
I think we'll suffer the listeners no more now.
Well, the prosecution in America are a load of beeps.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that beep, Chris?
I do, yes.
Should we stop swearing? Next episode, how about we don't swear, but every time we're about to swear, we say beep?
Well, it's hard not to, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. It's just my knee-jerk reaction. I was swearing a lot today.
Well, yeah, sometimes. Yeah, you just can't help it.
That's like every day for me. Like, even when I don't talk to anyone all day, somehow I manage to get out like at least a dozen swear words.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I'm by myself in my house, by myself, doing nothing. Somehow I'm still swearing constantly.
That's not normal.
Yeah, maybe not. Some people talk to themselves. I just swear at myself.
I don't see that a lot. But at the same time, if it helps you stop yourself from, cutting other people up, then
I've never cut other people up in my life. You're the one that molests people.
Yeah, but I don't swear at myself, so there's the evidence.
How is that evidence?
Well, if I cut other people up, but I don't swear at myself.
But I'm imagining it's you there and I'm swearing at you.
Oh, obviously, like, if I were to swear at myself, I'd commit less murders. So I'd be inflicting damage upon myself. Verbal damage, mental damage, but not physical damage on someone else.
Mm.
Anyway.
Well, beep and beep need to go beep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we're going to have to wrap this up soon. I mean, is there anything you'd like to say just before we say goodbye?
Just that, make sure that you check yourself before you wreck yourself, and have a good evening, everyone.
I want to say that I think people that lie about being sexually assaulted are just massive beeps. Just like proper beep. That was an aggressive beep, if you hadn't noticed, Chris.
Yeah, they're fucking assholes, aren't they?
Yeah, they're beeps. Like, not even like beep, which is a bit mellow. It's just like beep.
Yeah. And don't you wrongly accuse me of something that I ain't done.
I don't need to. You openly admit to everything.
Yeah, but so
you would not hold well under torture. I would, if I ever killed anyone, then you would be the last person I called to help me hide the body.
That man's body that was in my room, that was purely for Halloween, and he donated that to me in his will. So yeah, it's all good.
Okay, I think it's time we say goodbye, and I'm going to enroll Chris into therapy.
Yes.
The therapy would be with me, so he's not going to get any better. But still, we'll give it a shot.
It'll be a laugh for you, though.
Yeah, you'd sit on the sofa. You'd lie on the sofa, and we'd talk, and I wouldn't listen to what you were saying.
Like just sitting there, and it'll be like, I don't know, Duck. I just fucking love potatoes.
And then I'd be hiding my potato patch from you. I'd put out the washing around it so you can't see it. I can't have you fucking manure.
Fucking manure.
Anyway, I think we should say goodbye.
I do too, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, goodbye, my sexy, sexy listeners.
And,
I assume you all are because you're listening to us.
And don't let her touch you.
Yeah, because I'm the one that you have to worry about. I mean, I don't even let people hug me, so...
She just admitted it, guys. Okay. Have a good one, guys.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye. She did write a book on the whole incident. Like,
oh, yeah, she did. But she gave the proceeds to him.
She gave all the proceeds to him.
Okay, Chris, I need to stop because I really need to piss.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I've had like half a bottle of Coke while we've been sitting here. So just remember we're talking about the book and I'll be back in a minute.
I am forever blowing bubbles, pretty bubbles in the air. They fly so high, they touch the sky. I'm forever blowing bubbles, pretty bubbles in the air. They fly so high, they touch the sky. I'm forever blowing bubbles. They fly so high, oh what an atmosphere. I love a party with a brilliant atmosphere. Where do you take me there? And you and I together in the cold night air. Oh, 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 what an atmosphere. I love a party with a brilliant atmosphere.
Yeah, so she wrote a book.